Dr. Jimmy Cheek. I don't know if you know who Jimmy Cheek is, but Dr. Cheek, would you like to give him just a small snippet of why this might be something you were willing to spend your time on?
Well, I spent a lot of time the last 25 years of my life dealing with leadership and administration. And leadership is one of the things that I have studied a lot about and participated in a lot of different leadership preparation programs. And so when Dr. Boyd asked me to participate in this class, I'm not going to be here full time, but I will be here most of the sessions. And I said I'd be delighted to, because it is an area that I really have a lot of interest in, and I'm glad you have an interest in it, because I think if you look at the future, which that's what you're looking at, right, is the future, in your future, that the need for leadership has probably been, during my lifetime, and I'm pretty old, the greatest need for leadership, I think, in our history of our country is right now. And I was at an event Sunday night in Maryland. I went through Leadership Tennessee, Class 3. Class 5 had their kickoff on Sunday night in Maryland at Ruby Hughes' Lodge. And Governor Haslam spoke to us, and Chrissy Haslam spoke to us. And the governor talked about Howard Baker and talked about the political environment that we are in today. As there's ever been a time we need more leaders for our country, but also for our business and industry and education, is now. And so I'm delighted to be here at participate.
And you don't completely get why this is so exciting to me, so I thought I'd just tell you straight out. As you all know, you've been living this evolving, seeing the minor get built as you're going from one class to the next. And what you're experiencing now is the last final step on the reworking of the curriculum. And this class is going to include a lot of real-world application, opportunity for you to take your synthesis, what you've learned over the minor, and apply it to other people's vision of how they've been successful and what they believe about leadership, so that you can take what we taught you, what we told you is in the scholarship, and be able to identify now, based on your personal experiences and those experiences that you've heard from folks who've been there and gone well past where you hope to go. I imagine that, quite frankly, all can go, and figure out the model that you believe is true about the content that we've been teaching. So up until now, we've been giving you that bottom line experience with what the scholarship says about leadership. We've added to it your chance to have intentionally coached experiences that challenge you to think about what the scholarship says and what's real in your experiences now that you've had to work in a work setting. Basically, that's what your 350 class was. With the 351 class, you hung the notion of personal and social responsibility onto that broader frame for what the scholarship says about leadership. And now in this class, you get to make the self-authored piece happen. So as you all know, this was our goal, setting out. And I think between those classes, you can see how you built, or will by the end of this class, self-authored, personal and social responsible leadership. And that's what our outcome is supposed to be. And the way we do it is through experiential learning. And what you have there is our mission for the minor. Trying to write our mission so it's real succinct, but that it also shows what your learning outcomes are. And here. And then this is the pedagogy you were using. This is the way you learned it. The last stop in this experiential learning piece is you're going to take what you think you know about leadership now, that's your leadership notion, and apply it to a project. And actually try to make some kind of impactful change, or do whatever you need to prepare yourself for that next step, to make your personal vision, mission, and value statement come alive, and take the first step towards getting yourself there. Those of y'all that are in the 451 section are LKS students. You've already started your project. You're having to do it with others, which is completely an appropriate way of learning how to lead, to be part of a team, but still be successful, and use this content. Some of the people in your teams have this content, some don't. And that's going to be exactly what the real world is like. Those of you that are in 450 are going to have to figure out how to get your teams. But you also get to figure out what your projects are too. So there's a little bit of freedom, a lot of opportunity for you to be overly challenged. So we have a curriculum that helps you get there. So that's the big piece for what we're doing here, is we're helping you tie it all up in a bow. We're helping you test it against people who've been there before us. And Dr. Cheek has gotten us access to a lot of really strong speakers in this conversation, and getting your project to a place where you at least begun leading it. To make you feel better, you don't have to finish your project this semester. That's the important point for you to hear. You get to finish your project by next semester, when you submit your materials for graduation, just after you get back for spring break. Okay? And that's, the point is, you get to try to do it. You don't get a grade for your project, it's pass-fail. All right? So it's a learning experience, though. It's an important one because you can leave a legacy. You can do something that makes that first step really strong, but most importantly, it's a learning experience, so that you can see if your understanding and your perceptions, what you think about leadership and you as a leader, are in fact accurate when you actually try to do something that's bigger than you might have done otherwise. I've been saying this in different settings, but I mean it for y'all. This is your opportunity to make the motto, big orange, big ideas, real. It does not have to be something that makes Tennessee better. As a matter of fact, as we keep growing through this minor, we're actually hoping to help turn students' ideas to outside of the university as its primary, unless the people want to work at the university campus in the future, in which case it's exactly the place they should be focusing their energies. But right now, what are the big orange, big ideas that you want to make reality? If you haven't already figured out what your project is, I'm available to do one-on-one coffees and work through that with you over the next few weeks. Use my calendar. But that's the big picture of what we're doing. Does that make sense? So we're good to go. I think introductions is what's first, if I'm not mistaken, but just to be sure everybody's in the right class. This is us, okay? You're here. And we'll talk about this next. So introductions is what I've got that I'd like us to do. Dr. Cheek and I have introduced ourselves, but why don't you, since Dr. Cheek hasn't had the pleasure, why don't y'all start, and we could start with your name, your major, your primary student leadership roles, so whatever you do for 350 and anything else that you think helps people in the room know who you are, because you may not know everybody here, because this is your graduating cohort. Let's leave it at that for now. I'm not going to pressure anybody to go past that. But know that the people in this room are going to be your go-tos to help you problem solve how to get more effective with your project. Okay, so Heather.
Hello, my name is Heather Hall, and I am majoring in business management with a collateral in economics and leadership studies minor. My main roles on campus in leadership are being a third-year resident assistant in Fred Brown Hall, being president of my sorority, Sigma Phi Lambda, Sisters for the Lord's of Montana Clinic, and I'm also in Leadership Knoxville Scholars.
You are Leadership Knoxville Scholars?
Yes, sir.
About half of them are in this class.
I went through Leadership Knoxville in 2011, and then I chaired the board.
That's really cool. I interned for them this summer. So.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. And how do you like Fred Brown Hall?
I absolutely love it. I have lived there ever since it opened, so I was a resident its first year, and I adore the building. I love the population. It is amazing.
Can you tell us who Fred Brown was?
Yeah, so he was
Can I ask questions?
Yeah, we have a very short period of time to go
Oh, it
into the
is?
syllabus too.
All right, we better not do that.
Tell me who Fred Brown was.
Oh, wait. Here.
If you know it, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so Fred Brown was an African-American in the engineering department and got students, minority students involved in engineering, really increased the population of that to add diversity to students.
has tremendous graduates all over the world.
Okay. My name is Whitney Sawyer. I'm political science major. My 350 experimental leadership class was, I served as a recruitment counselor for the Panamint community this fall, and I'm also in Leadership Knoxville Scholars. I think that's it.
Hi, I'm Katie Porter. I am studying microbiology, and I'm on the women's varsity rowing team here, so I'm on the leadership team for that. I was a member of the second cohort for Fall Leaders Academy with the athletics department, and I'm also the philanthropy officer of Alpha Epsilon Delta for Health Honor Society.
Did you go on the trip this summer?
I did,
You did?
with Jen.
They went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Pat?
My name is Natalie Martindale. I'm studying public relations. I'm currently serving on the student conduct board for the university, and I am head of judicial board for Minnesota.
I'm Jen Davis. I'm a kinesiology major, and I'm also on the women's rowing team, and I'm served on the leadership council for that with Katie. And then I was part of the 2.0 Vol Leaders Academy, and I'm also the president of the Student Athletic Advisory Board.
Oh, you are? That's a real job.
Yeah, I'm learning quickly.
Yeah. Not that other things aren't real jobs, but that's good.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Hodges. I am a business analytics major with a marketing minor, or marketing collateral and leadership studies minor. I'm a fifth-year senior, so I'm doing my last semester. I was an RA in Brown when Heather was a resident. It was really cool. I was the chair of ASAP, which is Aspiring Student Affairs Professionals. I was in VPT. I've done a lot. But yeah, and then I'm the TA for this class. So if y'all need help or anything like that, I'm interning for the Leadership Studies minor. So yeah.
She's creating the first leadership studies minor internship, which is available to anybody after they finish this course if they have an interest in pursuing that possibility. Especially if you're interested in student affairs, it's not a bad idea.
My name is Katie Wright. I'm a fifth-year senior as well. Graduating in December. I'm really excited too. Let's see. I'm a business management major with a collateral in human resources and a leadership studies minor. Been involved very heavily in the CLS, Ignite. I was Ignite TL for SERVs. I'm a emerging leader, leadership and service ambassador. I finished LKS last semester. With my cohort, and then I've been a part of Meet for UT as well, and just kind of getting new balls acclimated on campus. So that's me.
I'm Zena Mirzad from Memphis. I'm majoring in psychology this is the minor. First, I started off as an alternative fall break leader when I first took one of the leadership studies classes. Currently, I'm the president of my sorority Delta Pi Omega, and I'm also the vice president of our council, which is the Multicultural Group Council. I'm also on exec for a new honors fraternity on campus, which is Phi Sigma Pi Honors Fraternity. And yeah.
My name is Elizabeth Nichols. I'm majoring in stats with a minor in business administration. I serve as an RA in Massey Hall. This is my third year doing that. I'm also in Leadership Knoxville Scholars, and I've led an alternative break.
My name is Matt Bowers. I'm a religious studies major. I'm a leadership minor. I was an RA for 2 years. I'm retired now. I've also served as a TA for a 201 class in the leadership minor. I'm a vice coordinator for the Leadership Studies Advisory Board, and then I served for a year as a representative of my major on the Thesis and Advisory Council for the Arts and Science College.
I'm Cincinnati. I'm studying economics in the College of Business. I'm a leadership studies minor. I've taken a bunch of 350 classes to help me lead an all-break trip, to TA. No, I think that's about it. And then I'm now the head coordinator for the Leadership Studies Advisory Board.
I'm Taylor Kennard. I'm from Memphis. I'm a finance and international business major. I took the Greek Leadership 350 class. I'm president of my sorority, ELPS. I am a peer mentor for the Venture Living Learning Community. I'm in LKS, and I'm a student alumni associate.
I'm telling you, you have a great diversity of experiences. The purpose of this class, the two main learning outcomes that we're adding to this adventure that you're on is capturing videos.
Then I'm sure it's going to be fine.
No, it's not going to be fine. Change is never fine. They say it is, but it's not.
Okay? So, as Sheldon says, change is never fine. But the other piece is what do we do with leadership? This I do need the digital. How do I get the change?
Captain's afraid there's going to be a lot of misses.
Do I just do this maybe? There are two pieces here. Yeah. Two pieces happen with this. Change makes people scared, and then once they think that about change, then people in the middle of change do things like this cat. This is a pretty good visual of what we're doing when we deal with change. So in your leadership material, what you're going to learn is that we're going to talk about the change process and how you function about that as a leader, and give you some of the theories behind that, some of the concepts that will help you affect change. But the other thing that we're going to be doing with this semester is by the end of it, you're going to be looking at how to manage your own life in change. We are going to help you think about taking everything we've discussed in the minor and applying it to the real world, applying it to you in a job. So changing the setting that you're using this in, which you're in a place where you're in a community, you're getting to practice the big picture of leadership. You're running big things right now. And you're not going to be able to do that as often in this setting or as quickly as you did in this setting. So how do you use those skills to be within an organization and in the bottom rung quite often in an organization? It's where a lot of people will start. This will help you figure out how to still be a leader even though you may not see yourself within this in any other way than you not.
There we go.
Because that's what you're going to do. Eventually, we're hoping to get to the place where you're like this cat that you actually are willing to drink the water in your new spot. So that's the big picture. If you want two visuals of where we're headed, those are the places we're headed. All righty? These are some pieces of people to pass this around for you. These are your syllabi. And while the syllabi is going, I want to introduce you to some questions that you've been developing the material for over the span of all of your time in the minor. These are the big questions that leadership scholarship explores. And it's also questions that leaders have to have an answer for. And you might not have thought about it this way. These are actually posted on your Canvas site, so you'll be able to get to them. But these are the things you need to be able to say by the time you're done. And you need to decide what you believe. So for the purposes of next week, I'm going to ask you to have taken some notes as to what you believe is true about this based on what you've learned. Not what you believe, but what you've learned. Okay, first and foremost, what is leadership? Can leadership be developed or cultivated? Does a leader do, and what should be their primary focus? What is the difference between management and leadership? Do leaders have vision? Must they have vision to be a leader? Do leaders have to have followers and influence outside of themselves? And if so, what is the role of the follower in that leadership? And then do leaders have to define themselves as leaders? And if they do so, are they a leader? Just because they define themselves as a leader. Must a leader be ethical or just be effective? And can you be a good leader and not a good person? Must leaders pursue positive social change? And does the goal imply morality or does it just imply influence? And last but not least, to lead is a leader requires to affect change in general, not just positive social change, but change in general. Those are the big questions of leadership, all right? Those are the questions that you need to be answering through this semester. But for next week, you've got that in your materials, and I'm going to ask that you kind of have a general notion of what you believe based on what you've been taught. So, review of the syllabus. So let's start with the syllabus. Is there a spare one that came back around? Perfect. I thought we had a few. So with this said, the big picture of what's on this, you've got my information, you've got Dr. Cheek's information. As usual, you have my cell phone. Text me if you need something and you're not getting it, all right? A little bit of business for you right now. That's an example of the same kind of commitment I need. All of you haven't applied for the minor yet. So if you haven't applied for the minor, go on your LSM site and you'll find under the academic information module a page that has all of the information on how to apply for the minor. Okay? Follow those instructions and get her done. You just need to go do it. If you're a pre-fall 15 catalog, you need to apply for the minor, but you got to talk to your advisor first, because it may change your catalog and that may change your graduation requirements. If that's the case, if it impacts your graduation requirements and you cannot make it up, what we have done is we have students who have completed all of the requirements of the minor. We have them in our alumni group, and then we have a letter within our files that we'll be able to tell people it wasn't officially conferred, but I completed all the requirements. And we can work with you on that. That has happened because it was just too expensive for people to stay. And we're committed to this other guy's vision of 4 now. I don't know who that guy was that convinced us we needed students to get out of here in 4 years, but we decided he was right. So we figured out how to help you do that if possible. Come as close as possible. I think that you're capable of reading, so I'm not going to go over what's on this front page, but I encourage you to read it. The big picture of what I just said here is within this content. All of your readings are on campus. You do not have to buy a book. I thought that was a great gift to your graduation. I thought you would like that a lot. This is your typical A through B. It's a 10-point scale, and it's the traditional at 93, it's A minus. Okay, there are minuses and pluses here. But it's the typical, a plus is 87 and above, a minus is 93 and below. All right? The requirements for this course, there are 2 sets of you. One is the 451, which is the seminar course that complements the Leadership Knoxville Scholars piece. So you have to do the things that are the bare minimum to put it all together for the minor. Okay? You're doing a lot of stuff for LKS, but you still need to do some things to put your minor requirements together. A lot of the way we approach this content is to get your minor requirements finished as a part of this class. So you don't have to be doing it all on your own on the side that last semester before you graduate. And then also making sense of the coursework that we're doing here. Those are the 2 big ways that we're approaching it. Those of you that are in 450, you're going to be writing a paper that uses engaged scholarship approach to what you know from your field and how to do research in general to apply to the problem you've selected as your project. Does that make sense to you all? In other words, you're doing a 10 to 12 page research paper that talks about the problem, why it's valuable, and what are some of the other ways people have done things, so you're not just recreating the wheel without being informed. That's what is the hallmark of a college graduate, especially a college graduate who is a leader. They understand that they have a skill to be able to harness all of this knowledge that you have access to and use it to make what you're doing more efficient and more informed. Okay? So that engaged scholarship piece. So what that means for you, when you look on the sheet, I've got this little slash. The left side is 450, the right side is 451. If you're an LKS, you're 451. If you're not an LKS, you're 450. Make sense? The assignments are, I think, clearly identified which are you responsible for, and the due dates are on the far side. The point totals are different because there's different amount of effort being expended on things. So that's why you're seeing the different points. And the LKS have 1 credit hour, non-LKS have 3 max.
When is the scholarship-based statement problem before 450 students?
450 is scholarship-based statement, problem, significance, and justification, and you're going to create it for your piece.
Does that do a final?
That's your paper.
It says like the final?
No, actually it's supposed to be right there. I apologize. I did it for the 7th of November because I want to be able to give you some feedback before the end of the term. So that you're getting it paced. I apologize if you need to add that in there. I was waiting to figure out when our other guest is coming. It's the 7th of November. Now, you're going to be doing a synthesis of the minor where you finalize your big questions and concept maps. You'll be doing those as activities in class. You'll have it as a homework in the next class. So if you do your homework, you are doing your work, and you'll just finalize it based on what you learned in class. So it won't take you as long to do some of these things. That's an important point to recognize. That is due on the 3rd of October. Right? The capstone requirements for those in LKS, you do a project boom, your strategic plan for however you were accomplishing what you were trying to accomplish with your minor, with your project, and your reflection. Those 3 pieces are also done by 450 students. So everybody, the point is we've been teaching you how to do those 3 things for every single place where you are with the minor so that you can do and approach your projects in a coherent, structured way. That's what we're asking you to do, is to use what we've been teaching you with the minor to accomplish your goals. It's a little tricky for the 451 students because they've been given an assignment, but what they need to do is they need to be thinking about how that project that they're doing actually does help them with where they want to go. It could be that it's you recognizing what you really care about. It could be that you're recognizing just how to work with something that you're not the one creating the vision, but you're figuring out how to create a shared vision. Whatever the case may be, think about how it helps you become a better leader and helps you achieve your project goal. And then those of you that are in 450 will also create that paper. But everything is due on November the 7th for all of this. Then the last class, everybody will do a team presentation on a case study, basically, of Steve Jobs and your boss. Okay? And you will take this content, and what the teams will do is they'll do I never say this right, so laugh at me if I do it wrong. That's what I'm trying to say, Pakapucha. Okay? You'll be doing that. That's 20 slides with 20 seconds per slide and just visuals, and then you explain what you think from that. That's how to do that. So it's a very quick presentation. It's very engaging and entertaining and fun. All right? And if I'm not mistaken, we have 12 people in this class. So my thoughts were that we would do 3 people per team, and that would give us 4 teams. And by the time we got to the end of that day, we would have had 4 really quick presentations and a discussion about what it is, and you're done with this semester, and you can go get the rest of your work finished from there. Okay? So I'd like us to just count off right now, so we've got y'all assigned 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3. 1. Oh, 4, sorry.
It's okay.
1,
2,
3, 4,
2.
3.
Okay. So where we are is one team only has 2 people, I think, is what it boils down to. That's all right. So we'll go with that. So 1, you know who your peers are? Raise your hand. 2. 3. 4. We will be good with that. And then your final is basically taking everything that you need to do to finish your portfolio and having your first really strong swing at that. And getting that finished. Those of you that are in 4, yes.
For the final, are we coming in to turn those in, or are they doing it electronically?
We'll do electronically, and then we're having a celebration at the house. So it'll be a celebration with a small breakfast to celebrate the end of the semester. So people are invited to come eat on me. The final exam period starts at 10:15, and you have to do it at the house at 15 till 11. And then it ends at 12:15, and you leave the house by 15 till 12. So I have you for my time period, all right? Those in 450, you're going to be taking 7 project meetings in addition to this. We'll talk about how to schedule that next. So just go ahead and continue to get you the workshops you need to be able to be successful to finish your projects. And that's the big picture about what's due. The assignment details are here. We'll answer questions next week if you have them about those. There will be a lot more information as we go through how to be successful on doing that, but that's the big picture of where you are. So far, so good. The other thing that I would mention is, I think that this course study is pretty straightforward, that you can follow it. The due, if it says due, it's due that day. So when you finish after this week, your homework that you'll be working on is this leadership concepts in jobs. And what will wind up happening with that is that you will work on that as you watch the movie. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But that's how you can see it. So then the next week, by the time you get to class next week after next, you'll have your initial ideas on your big question answers and who you are as a leader. That's how that works, just to be clear, so you know when those are due. The readings are here in the middle. Those will be posted on Canvas. I have the first two classes up so you can see physically how it's structured. We're probably not going to have you reading in advance because I've only been assigning 1 or 2 articles that are not 20 pages each. So the reading for this is not where the time will be spent. It's getting the work done is where the time will be spent. You do need to read though, because people will be coming into class and we don't want to embarrass ourselves. Okay? The topics are the second column, and the dates for all these things are here. You will notice that I've actually written when there are people coming in, when they're visitors. If it doesn't say boy, pretend it's a visitor. All right? And if it doesn't say boy, I need you to come dressed as dressed casual. That's me right now. That's dressed casual, at least this much. All right? Now I'm going to go back to where I'm comfortable. So I'm waiting to get that off myself. And let me give you a little bit more. I will be dressed the way I want us to represent the minor. I have this, you know, I have a physical condition that causes me not to be able to wear anything but Birkenstocks size. I was a leather loafer person. I like to look a little better than this. This isn't my persona. And for these people coming in, I'm going to go ahead and deal with the fact that it hurts to wear those things. And that it will cause long impacts. So if I can dress up, you can, is the point. So that's the minimum. Don't go looking like you're wanting a job that's not in the best interest. They need to feel like they're talking to students. But don't embarrass yourselves, all right? Apart from that, be on time for those days. Be on time for all days. But we're going to start at 12:40. They're coming in. These are people who've taken their time. The first person, Dr. Chico, is going to give you a few minutes to give them just a real quick sort of idea as to who these people are. So if you want to do that.
Samantha Roach is one of our Haslam College graduates. She is a very significant leader in Knoxville, and she is CEO of KUB. So when you pay your electric bill or water bill, you pay to her organization. And you will really enjoy what she's going to say to you. On the 7th of November, we have Dr. Bill McKee. He's a graduate of our department, and he is provost of Cumberland University. And I just talked to him on the phone today and confirmed that 11/7 for him. Then on the 21st of November, we have Will Carter. Will was student body president. He lives in Knoxville. He's a prominent attorney, and he's so busy that I have not really talked with him on the telephone. We just exchanged messages and said, yes, I will be there, yes, I will speak, and I will send him an email fairly soon. And Will, I believe, graduated from College of Arts and Sciences and then our College of Law. And Henry Gross is active in the community. He's a Haslam College graduate, went to Vanderbilt for an MBA, and he is president of a local bank. And so you're going to get the opportunity to meet some very talented people. If you go out in the community as a professional here in Knoxville, these people are people that people look up to as leaders, key leaders. And so I think we've been very fortunate to get these forward. We also have had some discussion about having another person come.
That's our hope.
And we're still going to identify someone different than this, and I've got a couple of ideas on that. We thought about Peyton Manning, but since he's coming to give the Baker Distinguished Lecture that you've had an opportunity to sign up for, did anybody get a ticket? Very good. You will get to see him in person. And I guess the rest of those that aren't signed up for the ticket, I think they're already gone. We'll have to watch it on video.
So you'll note that that's a pretty exciting group. In addition to those alumni that we're bringing back in, You'll be having the Dean Ryder for the Dean of College Education will be presenting on the 10th of October. Vince Corelli will be presenting, we believe. There may be some changes in when we do it, but this is what we're doing based on their schedules. But with everything going on in that neck of the woods, possible he won't be able to, but he's checking. We also have Dr. Cheek and Dr. Crowley, if it goes as planned, on the 24th, but if not, I have 2 other people ready to step in if I ask. And then on the 14th of November, we have Stephanie Kitt, the director of the Career Center, will be working with Dr. Cheek on presenting how to communicate what you've just done to employers and to grad school. All right? So, as you can tell, this is a jam-packed, fun adventure. We'll jump off the deep end at the front. Those of y'all that are 451, you get to leave at 1:35 on a regular basis. So we'll be starting at 12:40 when people walk in the door with these visitors. At 1:15, we're going to break, and then we're going to talk about what you read and how you saw it in the discussion with the people that were in the room. They're invited to stay if they can, but they don't have to, and some will and some won't. What I'm telling you is that means if you think about it, that's your chance to impress people. That you, A, did your homework, and B, listen well to them. And I would encourage you to see it that way, because there's no telling. I've learned that a lot of times people come in and say they don't think they'll stay, and then you all sell them and they say quit because they want to see what you say. So just know that I anticipate many of them will stay. It's at all humanly possible. So that's the way we'll go about it. And then at 1:30, we'll do 15 minutes of discussion about what you heard, which means you know what that means. It means y'all are doing all the talking. We want to process what you saw, and then we'll help you make sure you understood it right. But it'll be about y'all talking. And then the last 5 minutes will be, here's your business for the day to make sure you got what you do. If there's time, we'll do announcements and celebrations because you've got a lot of announcements and a lot of celebrations you'll be doing. If not, we'll do it next week. And then y'all will leave 4:51 and 4:50 will stay put until 1:55. And we will talk about the big picture, what you need to keep your projects running. And then we will also schedule those additional 7 days. That's how this runs. Making sense so far? Feels pretty good to know what's going on, doesn't it? None of the things that you're supposed to submit to us, with the exception of the, I never can do it. Pikachuka? I wish I were good at that. Say it again, Katie. Every time.
Pakachuka. Pakachuka, we do this.
Pikachuka?
Pakachuka.
Pakachuka?
Kind of like Pikachu.
Pakachuka, Pakachuka, Pakachuka. Every time we do when we do the Pakachuka, that's the only thing that's new on the way that you would be doing some of these things. So, big picture on what's in the syllabus. Do you have any questions about it?
What's different next week, we're doing that in class, is that what you're saying?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to you right now after I show you Canvas. The way the Canvas site works. And if you've got your computer, break them out now. You're invited to bring your computers. As a matter of fact, I'd encourage you to have them just for that, because you never know when there's going to be a reason for you to look up, but don't look at them unless you're doing something that you've been assigned to do. You do know when you're surfing the web, trust me. And it's exceptionally distracting. So, get on Canvas. I'm sure all of you have been on Canvas these past few weeks. There have been a few challenges with Canvas. So OIT is trying to transition every faculty member to Canvas. To be clear about something, the Leadership Studies minor site, we have significantly changed it since you all saw this, so please take some time to look at it. We worked really hard to organize it for you. Thank you, Seth and team. Everything you need on the front end is here. You will be doing a portfolio. Here's the link to the template. And here's a link to the video to get that done. So if you're starting to work on it, those 2 things will help you. The modules under the Leadership Studies minor are here. That first is what the honor students are doing. They're doing a lot of pre-assessment. so that we're able to do an actual research process to see what's working and what doesn't. But this is the leadership's academic materials I mentioned to you earlier. There's a little button for how to declare them minor. So that's what you do on that piece. Then if you will go to the Canvas for this course, which is the 450, 451, you'll notice that there's an awful lot of...
It's not
I
You might have to go to all three.
published it before I left the house. This happened every place that I went. If you get on and it's not published, and you can't get access to it, send me a text. Because I've had to turn on, I've had to republish courses 4 times already for the history students I've mentioned. So it's now on, should be on at least. Here's what you're going to be looking at. This is the actual syllabus connection. Again, the information for your portfolio is here. The way we've managed this is if you only look at the modules and the home page, you're safe. You have everything you need. Okay? This is the way I've organized this class. Right? You'll have one page that is what's going on in this class that day. Then you'll have all the homework pieces. Eventually you'll have the PowerPoint